All right, so the next layer that we're gonna do is, or the next one we're gonna do is actually gonna be her eyelashes. So we're gonna make it look like she's wearing mascara or has fake eyelashes on. So we're gonna do a few new things here. The first thing we're gonna do is we are gonna add a blank layer, and we are going to sample color. So we want to get a color that's pretty similar to like her normal lashes. And to see those, I'm going to turn my eyeliner layers off so that I can see a little bit better. So I'm going to get my eyedropper tool. I pressed I on my keyboard to activate my eyedropper, and I'm going to get really dark. Looks like that's the darkest one. All right, so now that I have my color sampled, I'm going to push B on my keyboard to activate my brush. And then I'm going to click this button right here. And this is going to open up my brush settings. So the first thing I want to change in my brush settings is that I want to make sure that whenever I'm playing with this, I want it to look like a lash. So lashes are thicker at the base and a lot thinner towards the end of it. So I'm going to click Shape Dynamics, excuse me. And let's change. Ooh, you have to actually click on this. Control needs to go to fade, and we're going to change 25%. Let's go to like 30%. And it's going to give you examples. So like 25 is a little bit shorter, but I think around 30 is going to be right, and you can test it. Okay. And so you see it's where you press initially is thicker than wherever you let go. And we'll get rid of those in just a second. So I actually think I want to go a little bit darker. Let me get a different color real quick. There we go. Yeah, I like that color better. All right, you see how that's kind of doing that? And you want to make sure with your brush activated that you have the soft brush selected. And then we're going to make the size of our brush much smaller. So it needs to be the same size as the lashes. And you can see that that makes a huge difference. So, all right, I think that's close-ish to where I want to go. I might go down to about a 5 on my brush. Okay, I'm going to close this panel, and I'm actually going to delete this layer and get a new blank layer now that I know where I want to be. And I'm going to zoom in on her lashes. And then I have my brush activated. It's got the settings set that I would like it to. Now it is a little pixelated right here, but that's okay. All right, so if it's not going to be perfect, zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit better. Okay. You can make her lashes as long as you want them to be, as dramatic as you want them to be, okay? So if you want them more dramatic and longer, then you might want to have a larger fade than what I do. Or if you don't want them this dramatic, you might want to go with a shorter fade. And then don't stress out too much. Like this color is not as dark as I would like it to be. So I'm actually going to go through here in a little bit and increase the shade of them. And then I'm also going to, I want those to be lighter. So I'm actually going to turn the opacity down on those. And be careful if in prior videos your opacity is higher or lower. So if these aren't turning out as dark as you want them to be, it could be because your opacity was down. So I'm just kind of going over and beside some of the current like lower lashes here to kind of give her a little bit more going on here. I'm going to turn my opacity all the way up and come back in and do some of these lashes. Oh yeah, that's much better. And you just kind of curl, whoopsie, made a dot. You kind of just curl along with their normal lashes. When you get straight on, they're going to be a little bit straight, and then they may do a slight curve to the other side. All right, so you're going to zoom out. You see the difference? And then we're going to go in and give her some lashes on the other side. And this you can't really do and then copy like we did the eyeliner, just because like it's not going to look natural if you do that. So yeah, so this looks a lot more aggressive right now because I did that first round in the 50% opacity. So I'm going to change my opacity back down and go back in and fill some in. Yeah. Do you have to spend as much time doing this as I am? No, you do not. I just am one of those people that wants it to be just right. All right, so I'm going to turn my opacity back down, and I want to make sure that I'm like similar-ish. You see my lashes on this left side are not as long, so I need to go back and fix some of those and make them longer. All right, so we're close-ish. And remember, Command Z is edit, undo. All right, now I'm going to turn my opacity back down. I'm going to do a similar lower layer. I need to go a little bit higher than 10. Should have remembered what that was, but it's okay. And I'm just going to go in and add some lower lashes, kind of right beside where her natural ones are already falling. All right. I'm going to turn the opacity up a little bit more and give a few more defined lashes over here that I feel like she has over there. All right, and so the next step that you're going to do, so now we have our lashes done. I'm going to push Command minus. I'm going to zoom back out, not that far. Is if you would like that to be a much darker color, you can burn it. So we're going to get our burn tool. We are still on this layer, so it's really only going to affect what we've painted onto it. So if you see, we're going to turn off everything else. It's only going to affect those lashes. So I have my burn tool. I have it 40% mid-tones. We'll see what that does. Okay, not a whole lot. I could turn my exposure up. Okay, it's starting to get a little bit darker. And if I want to choose shadows, it would darken that as well. Okay, so that's kind of how you would do that. We're going to turn it back on. You can see just the makeup we have applied. So that's really all the makeup that we've applied so far. And then turn it back on her. And I'm going to zoom back out. All right, so now that is the lashes video, and next up is going to be lips.